You say you want to change. You plan it. You understand it. You promise yourself this time will be different. And then you don't change. Not because you are lazy, not because you lack discipline, not because you don't want it badly enough, but because your brain resists change at a level you were never taught to see. Change does not feel like growth to the subconscious mind. It feels like danger. Today, we are going to explain the real psychology of why people don't change. Even when they are self-aware, motivated, and in pain, your brain is not designed to make you happy. It is designed to keep you safe. And safety depends on predictability. The familiar, even when painful, is predictable. The unfamiliar, even when better, is uncertain. So the brain prefers familiar pain over unfamiliar relief. This is the foundation of familiar pain psychology, and the core reason people stay stuck in habits they consciously hate. From the brain's perspective, known suffering is safer than unknown change. Most people believe that if they want change badly enough, it will happen. But desire does not override biology. The subconscious mind controls most behavior, and the subconscious is not convinced by logic. It is convinced by safety. This is why people don't change even when staying the same hurts. The brain asks one question: will this keep me safe? If the answer is unclear, resistance appears. Most people think change is about habits, but it is not. Change is about identity. Your habits are expressions of who you believe you are. When you try to change behavior, your brain hears something deeper. I am no longer who I was. Identity disruption feels threatening to the nervous system. This is where self-sabotage psychology begins. The brain resists change to protect a stable identity. Even if that identity is painful, every repeated behavior creates a neural pathway. The more you repeat it, the stronger it becomes. The brain does not ask if the habit is healthy. It asks if it is efficient. Old habits are efficient because they require less energy and run automatically. New behaviors require attention, effort, and uncertainty. From a neuroscience of habits perspective, the brain always chooses the path of least resistance. This is one of the most misunderstood truths in psychology. Awareness does not change behavior. You can understand your trauma, your patterns, and why you self-sabotage and still repeat the same behavior. Awareness is cognitive, but habits are neurological. Insight shows the pattern, while repetition rewires the brain. This is why knowing better does not lead to doing better. Most behavior follows a habit loop made of cue, routine, and reward, and this loop lives in the subconscious mind. When you try to change, the brain does not ask whether the new behavior is good for you. It asks whether it is familiar. If the new behavior does not feel safe, the brain pulls you back to the old loop. This is why people relapse, why motivation fades, and why change collapses after a few days. The brain fears loss more than it values gain. This is known as loss aversion. When you try to change, your brain focuses on what you might lose: comfort, belonging, identity, familiar routines, and familiar pain. It does not focus on what you might gain. This is why positive change still feels dangerous and why the brain resists change. Even when staying the same hurts, change activates the nervous system. Uncertainty feels unsafe. For a nervous system trained in stress, change feels like exposure. The body tightens, avoidance increases, and self-sabotage appears. This is not a mindset problem. It is a nervous system safety problem. Until the body feels safe, the brain will resist change. Familiar pain has structure. You know how it feels and how to survive it. Unfamiliar peace has no map. So the subconscious mind chooses what it knows, even when it hurts. This is why people return to the same relationships, the same habits, and the same emotional patterns. Familiar pain feels safe because it is predictable. Change is not an upgrade to the brain. It is a loss. A loss of identity, a loss of certainty, and a loss of the old story. From a psychological perspective, change feels like a small death, and the brain resists death, even symbolic death. This is why change feels heavy and why people delay it. Motivation speaks to the conscious mind, but habits live in the subconscious mind. That is why motivation fades. Discipline uses force, and force creates pressure. Pressure cannot be maintained forever. Eventually, the system seeks relief, and relief is found in familiar behavior. This is why discipline alone fails. When people say, "I want to change," they usually mean, "I want relief." But change requires discomfort before relief, and the nervous system avoids discomfort automatically. People want the outcome of change without the identity disruption that change requires. This creates an internal conflict that keeps them stuck. If your brain resists change, it does not mean you are weak. It does not mean you lack willpower, and it does not mean you are broken. It means your brain is doing what it evolved to do: protect familiarity, protect identity, and protect survival. This is neuroscience, not failure. Most people try to change with their mind. They think, plan, and analyze. But change does not happen in the mind alone. It happens in the body. If the nervous system does not feel safe, logic will not matter. This is why people relapse, why habits return, and why self-sabotage appears right when progress begins. Big change feels dangerous to the nervous system, while small change feels manageable. Slow repetition builds safety, and safety reduces resistance. Consistency teaches the nervous system that change is not a threat. That is why consistency rewires the brain more effectively than motivation. There is a moment when change feels hardest. This moment is not failure. It is transition. The old identity is dissolving and the new one is not stable yet. Most people quit here, not because change didn't work, but because they left too early. Change feels worse before it feels better. Anxiety increases, doubt appears, and old habits call louder. This is not regression. It is the nervous system learning something new. If you stay, resistance weakens. The brain allows change when three things align: repetition, safety, and identity alignment. Not motivation, not guilt, and not pressure. When change feels familiar, the brain stops resisting. If this explains something you struggle with, you are not alone. This pattern is common and reversible. If this helped you understand why change feels so hard, you can support this work by liking the video. If you recognized yourself here, leave a comment. And if you want more psychology that explains behavior instead of blaming you for it, you can subscribe. More clarity is coming. Change does not fail because you are broken. It fails because your brain is trying to keep you safe.